Most people think a heart attack announces itself. Chest pain, the left arm going numb, a dramatic collapse. That is what the movies show. That is what most people expect. Subscribe to this channel for new health videos. But after the age of 60, the most dangerous cardiac events are often the silent ones, the ones that develop gradually while you sleep. No warning, no time to call for help, no second chance. And here is what surprises most people when they hear this. Those events are almost always triggered by something completely ordinary, something unremarkable, something you did before turning off the light. Tonight I'm going to show you 5 of those habits, 5 things that are quietly loading the gun while you sleep. And then I will show you exactly how to unload it, one simple evening at a time. Here is something most people do not know. Your cardiovascular system does not take a break when you fall asleep. It simply shifts gears. In a healthy body, nighttime is when your blood pressure naturally falls, usually by about 10 to 20%, compared with daytime levels. Your heart rate slows, your arteries relax. It is a biological reset, a form of maintenance your body has been performing throughout your entire life. But after the age of 60, that system becomes less reliable. Blood vessels become stiffer. Blood pressure regulation becomes less precise. Certain hormonal signals that once protected your heart during the night begin to weaken, and the margin for error becomes much smaller. Think of it this way. During the day, your cardiovascular system has backup mechanisms. It can compensate, it can adapt. At night, many of those protective mechanisms are essentially offline. Your body is operating with a reduced crew. That is what makes the night so different after 60. That is why the hours between midnight and 6 in the morning carry the highest risk of heart attack and stroke for older adults. Not the afternoon, not the morning rush. The quiet hours, the hours when no one is watching, but your habits are. And what happens during those dangerous hours is largely determined by what you did before going to bed. Let us start with habit. Number 1, the one that surprises people most. What time did you eat dinner last night? And what was on your plate? Many people over 60 eat dinner around 8 or 9 at night, sometimes even 10. A full meal, pasta, rice, meat, something fried, followed by sitting on the couch and then going to bed within an hour or 2. I understand why it happens. Busy days, family schedules, habits built over a lifetime. But from a cardiac perspective, this routine is quietly harming your heart. A heavy meal late at night is one of the most underestimated stresses your heart can experience. Here is what is happening inside your body. When you eat a large meal, your digestive system demands a tremendous increase in blood flow. Your heart has to pump harder. Your blood pressure rises. Triglycerides, the fats circulating in your bloodstream, rise sharply within 2 to 4 hours after eating. Now combine that with going to sleep. Your body expects the evening to be a period of winding down, not an all-hands cardiovascular emergency. Instead, your heart is working overtime to digest a large dinner while simultaneously trying to transition into its nighttime recovery mode. Those two demands directly compete with one another. Studies have consistently shown that eating within 2 to 3 hours before bedtime is associated with elevated nighttime blood pressure, higher rates of acid reflux that can mimic or even trigger cardiac symptoms, and an increased risk of cardiovascular events during sleep. The solution is not complicated. Finish your main meal by 6 or 7 in the evening whenever possible. If you need to eat later, keep it light, lean protein and vegetables instead of heavy fatty foods. Habit number 2, and this is where some of the most preventable damage occurs. If you are over 60 and you take medication for high blood pressure, and statistically more than 60% of people in this age group do BOWS, the timing of that medication matters enormously. Far more than most doctors take the time to explain. For most people, blood pressure follows a predictable daily rhythm. It rises in the morning, peaks during the afternoon, and falls at night. but a significant number of people over 60, amongst especially those with hypertension, never experience that normal nighttime drop. Their blood pressure remains elevated, or it actually surges during the early morning hours. This condition is known as nocturnal hypertension. Most people have never heard of it, yet it is dangerous in ways that ordinary daytime high blood pressure is not. While you sleep, your arterial walls are not prepared to withstand sudden pressure surges. A spike in blood pressure at 3 in the morning affects your arteries very differently than a spike at 3 in the afternoon. It is more likely to rupture a vulnerable plaque inside a coronary artery, more likely to trigger the formation of a blood clot. If you take your blood pressure medication only in the morning, it may no longer be working when your body needs it most. There is strong scientific evidence, including findings from the Hygia chronotherapy trial, suggesting that taking blood pressure medication in the evening can significantly reduce cardiovascular risk during sleep. Talk to your doctor specifically about medication timing. Ask whether your blood pressure medication should be taken in the evening instead of the morning. That conversation takes only 2 minutes. It could save your life. Habit number 3. And I want you to think about someone you know who snores. Maybe it is your spouse, maybe it is one of your parents, or maybe it is you. Most people dismiss snoring as an annoyance, something to joke about. I treat it as a warning sign of heart disease until proven otherwise. Sleep apnea is one of the most underdiagnosed conditions I see in patients over 60. It is estimated that more than 30% of older adults have some form of sleep apnea. Yet the vast majority have never been diagnosed or treated. Here is what actually happens during an episode of sleep apnea. You stop breathing for 10 seconds, 40 seconds, sometimes even longer. It may happen dozens of times every hour. Each time it happens, the oxygen level in your blood drops dramatically. Your brain detects a crisis and immediately activates a stress response. Adrenaline is released, your heart rate suddenly accelerates, your blood pressure spikes. Your heart is essentially jolted awake while the rest of your body remains asleep. Night after night, year after year, sleep apnea is directly associated with a 3-fold increase in the risk of heart attack. It is also strongly linked to atrial fibrillation, a condition that dramatically increases the risk of stroke. The warning signs are not always obvious. Yes, loud snoring is one of them. But also watch for waking up with morning headaches, feeling exhausted despite a full night of sleep, needing to urinate frequently during the night, waking with a dry mouth, or waking with the sensation of choking or gasping for air. If any of those sound familiar, talk to your doctor about having a sleep study. If you snore heavily, you are over 60, and you have any history of heart disease or stroke. Being evaluated for sleep apnea is not optional. It is an essential part of your cardiac care. Habit number 4. And this one is driven by perfectly logical thinking, which is exactly why it is so easy to overlook. Many people over 60 intentionally reduce how much they drink in the evening. The reason makes complete sense. They want to avoid waking up at 2 in the morning to use the bathroom. Interrupted sleep is frustrating. Getting out of bed during the night increases the risk of falling, so they stop drinking fluids after dinner. Sometimes even after 4 in the afternoon. I completely understand the reasoning. But from a cardiovascular perspective, going to bed even slightly dehydrated is a significant risk factor, and it is one that almost nobody talks about. When you are dehydrated, your blood becomes more viscous, thicker. It does not flow through your blood vessels as easily. For a younger cardiovascular system, that is usually manageable. For someone over 60 who already has stiffened arteries and plaque buildup, it is an entirely different situation. Thicker blood moves more slowly through arteries that are already narrowed. It is also more likely to form dangerous blood clots. And here is the timing issue that most people never consider. During sleep, your heart rate naturally slows down. Blood circulation also slows. Now combine that slower circulation with thicker blood in a body that remains motionless for 7 or 8 hours, flowing through arteries that may already be partially blocked. That combination, dehydration, a slower heart rate, reduced movement, and underlying arterial disease, is one of the reasons why heart attacks and strokes occur so frequently during the early morning hours. The solution is remarkably simple. Drink 1 full glass of water before going to bed. Not a large amount, just about 240 milliliters. That is all you need. It is enough to help prevent your blood from becoming unnecessarily thick while you sleep. Keep another glass of water on your bedside table for when you wake up. If you wake up feeling slightly thirsty at 2 in the morning, your body is asking for something your heart needs. You do not have to choose between getting a good night of sleep and protecting your cardiovascular health. Habit number 5. And this one surprises almost everyone because it sounds too simple to make a real difference. What temperature is your bedroom at night? Most people have never considered that question from the perspective of heart health. They think about comfort, they think about personal preference, but your cardiovascular system actually performs best within a specific temperature range. Outside that range, your heart quietly works much harder than it should. Let us start with a bedroom that is too warm. When the temperature rises above approximately 22 degrees Celsius, or about 72 Fahrenheit. Your body has to work continuously throughout the night to release excess heat. Your blood vessels dilate. Your heart rate remains elevated. You sweat more, which increases fluid loss and brings us right back to the dehydration problem we just discussed. Perhaps even more importantly, your sleep quality declines. You spend less time in the deep restorative stages of sleep, the stages during which your heart performs its most important overnight recovery and repair. Now the opposite extreme. A bedroom that is genuinely too cold, below approximately 16 to 17 degrees Celsius, creates a completely different kind of cardiovascular stress. Cold temperatures cause your blood vessels to constrict to preserve your body's core temperature. As they tighten, your blood pressure rises. Your heart has to pump against greater resistance. For someone already living with coronary artery disease or high blood pressure, that increase in nighttime blood pressure is far from insignificant. The optimal bedroom temperature for both quality sleep and cardiovascular protection is between 18 and 22 degrees Celsius, or 65 to 72 Fahrenheit. Within that range, your body remains in what is known as a thermally neutral state. Your blood vessels stay relaxed. Your heart rate remains low and steady. Your sleep stays deep and restorative. One simple thermostat adjustment, real protection. Now let me put all 5 together into something practical you can actually start tonight. I call it the heart-safe evening routine. Between 6 and 7 in the evening, eat your main meal. Choose lean protein, vegetables, and a moderate amount of carbohydrates if you need them. Not a feast, not skipping dinner, just a balanced meal at a sensible hour. That gives your heart 3 to 4 hours to finish the work of digestion before you sleep. Around 7, focus on water and your medications. If you have not discussed the timing of your blood pressure medication with your doctor, let tonight be your reminder to have that conversation. Between 8 and 9 hours, enter your wind-down period. A gentle walk, a book, a calm conversation. This is also the time to step away from screens. The bright light from smartphones suppresses melatonin production and keeps your nervous system alert much longer than it should be before bedtime. By 9, prepare your bedroom. Adjust the thermostat. Place a glass of water on your bedside table. These tasks take less than 90 seconds. But they matter. By 10, in bed. And one final detail that costs absolutely nothing. If you snore or if someone has told you that you stop breathing while you sleep, try sleeping on your side instead of your back. Sleeping on your back can dramatically worsen airway obstruction. Simply changing your sleeping position can significantly reduce episodes of sleep apnea. Dinner by 7, water and medications around 7. A calm evening until 9. Bedroom prepared by 9. In bed by 10. Sleeping on your side. That is the whole routine. I want to speak to you honestly for a moment. I have stood beside an operating table at 3 in the morning, holding a heart that had stopped because a blood clot formed overnight inside a narrowed coronary artery. I have spoken with families sitting in hospital waiting rooms at dawn. Families who had no idea anything was wrong when they wished their loved one good night just a few hours earlier. And in case after case, the contributing factors were not mysterious. A late dinner, a missed blood pressure pill, a bedroom that was too warm, a body that quietly became dehydrated, an airway that had been collapsing silently for years while everyone assumed the snoring was harmless. These are not rare or exotic risk factors. They are the background noise of millions of ordinary evenings. But that background noise, repeated night after night, year after year, can eventually become the heart attack that no one saw coming, because no one knew where to look. Here is the greatest lesson more than 20 years of medicine has taught me. Most of the hearts that fail do not fail because of bad luck. They fail because of missing information. Information the patient simply never received. Now you have that information. The question is, what you will do with it tonight, not next week, not after your next medical appointment. Tonight. Let me give you the 5 solutions one final time so you leave with a clear action plan. 1. Finish your main meal by 6 or 7 in the evening. Give your heart time to finish digestion before you sleep. 2. Talk to your doctor about the timing of your blood pressure medication. Specifically ask whether taking it in the evening would be appropriate for you. That 2-minute conversation could be the most important medical discussion you have this year. 3. If you snore, wake up exhausted, or if anyone has told you that you stop breathing while you sleep, get evaluated for sleep apnea. After 60, this is not optional. It is an essential part of protecting your heart. 4. Drink 1 glass of water before going to bed. Keep another glass on your bedside table. Do not allow your blood to become thicker overnight simply because you wanted to avoid getting up to use the bathroom. 5. Keep your bedroom temperature between 18 and 22 degrees Celsius, 65 to 72 Fahrenheit. That one simple adjustment helps protect your blood vessels and costs absolutely nothing. Which of these 5 habits do you recognize in your own evenings? My feeling is that at least 2 or 3 of them probably sound familiar. And if they do, you are certainly not alone. The difference is that now you know what to do about it. If someone you love is over 60, a spouse, a sibling, a close friend, please share this video with them today, not next week. Today. There is almost certainly someone in your life who has never connected their nightly routine with the health of their heart. Everything I have shared today is general medical information based on current cardiovascular research. It is not a substitute for personalized medical care. Before making any changes to your medication schedule, especially the timing of your blood pressure medication, please consult your own physician. That is not simply a disclaimer, it is sincere advice. Please subscribe to this channel. I post new videos to help you stay healthy. Thank you for watching. Take good care of your heart.